Welcome back to the Big Grand Show. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to talk about another Supreme Court decision having to do with affirmative action in college admissions. Now, first off, I want to be very clear that I did not get to go to college after college I wanted to go to because my merits did not meet muster for that university. My dream university was Texas A&M College Station. To this day, that is still my dream college. I ended up going to Stephen F. Austin State University because I could not meet the requirements needed to get into Texas A&M College Station. I did not sue anybody over it. I did not piss, moan, or cry over it. I just went to Stephen F. Austin State University. Now, do I believe things for me would be a lot different if I'd gone to Texas A&M? I think so. Because when I first got to SFA, it felt like the 13th grade. It didn't feel like I was at an actual university. Because I got babied a lot, it felt like, when I first got there. So I never took it seriously. In the end, I didn't do too well. But I didn't sue anybody for not getting into the college of my dreams. Because I guess back in the 90s, that's just not how it worked, right? We didn't think to sue everybody just because we got wrong somehow. That's just not how it worked in the 90s. When you didn't get into a college, you applied to another one. If you didn't get into your dream college, yeah, you might shed some tears, you might have a cry fest, but you pull your big girl panties up and you keep going. Which is sad that people have lost that. Bringing us to the case at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's ruling basically did away with any kind of quotas for race in college admissions, saying that places like Harvard cannot put a set number of people from a race to be available, slots that are exclusively for those people. What it does not do is preclude colleges from using race at all. Colleges still have the ability to use race, in their overall look at a student when they're looking at the whole student, right? But they can't use it as the only determining factor. They can look at race in terms of what the person had to overcome. Did their race, actually preclude them from being able to have, access to certain things? Did their race lead them to have to, work earlier in life? Therefore, their grades may not have been as high as say, a white student who happened to be, from a rich, family. Right? That's what matters. Is who can they are they going to be able to overcome adversity? Can they get over adversity? And I truly believe that if you look at a whole student, the whole person, not just their grades, even though I do believe that should be a major factor. But if you're looking at Harvard, and you're looking for somebody that's going to be able to overcome adversity, that's going to be able to push through and get to the other side, do you want somebody who's been nannied their whole life, that's never faced adversity? Or do you want somebody that's been through it, that's dealt with stuff? And I think that's what schools need to look at. I don't think schools need to look at race. Honestly, it shouldn't even be a spot on the application. You should have an essay that you write that explains who and what you are. To be clear, I also do not believe there should be quotas for LGBTQ people or disabled people, two communities that I am a part of. I don't believe in special treatment in academia. I believe if you meet the grade requirements and you have an overall great package of a person, and you look like you could pass muster, then take care of it. But if you leave high school with C's and you go to apply to get into a college like Harvard, they're going to laugh you out of the place. And I don't think your race should matter in that. Now the thing is, this could be seen by some universities as a way to preclude people from admissions. I am concerned that this ruling could very well hurt African Americans and other minorities in the Deep South, in Alabama, Mississippi. Because I really believe some of those universities could very possibly be like, you know what, we don't want this person in our school because they're not, the race we want. And I believe it's something that this ruling could do. Hopefully it doesn't happen that way. Hopefully we just can move more to looking at the whole student model as opposed to just looking at their race or just grades. It needs to be their lived experience along with their grades. Honestly, I believe if you're one of those people that, got your grades taken care of all the time, like you were always, always had somebody structuring everything you did, making sure your homework was done on time, making sure your work, any kind of work was done on time, like papers and stuff, midterm papers and things like that were done in high school. You're not going to be able to deal with as much adversity as somebody who didn't have that. Somebody who had to go get a job at 15 and had to work to support their parents and their family. Because I've known a lot of people, when I went to Stephen F. Austin, I knew a lot of people that were there late in life because they had to start working at 15, 16 years old because they had a disabled parent home who could no longer work. Those people ended up graduating that I met with very high grades. Because when they got met with a big term paper, it didn't hurt them. When they got a bad grade and needed to redo something or whatever, it didn't affect them. They were like, oh, well, that sucks. And they would pull up their big girl pants and get it done. I really believe this could lead to some reform in how we admit people into colleges. Because I think up to this point, we've been doing it completely wrong. I believe affirmative action in college admissions was important at one time. I believe it was very important at one time. But I don't think we should be setting quotas on how many people from each race. And if that means there's a class where no white people at a college get in, then guess what? That seems fair to me. Right? Because I believe it should be based on lived experience and the merits of your coming out of high school, or say your junior college. Now, I don't want anybody to take that as being, uncaring about the plight of African American people in this country, or any other minority group for that matter. Because I'm not sitting here saying anything of that sort. Because I believe that the only way that we're going to pull this country out of the crap that we're in right now is through educating everybody. However we can educate them. As I understand that not everybody is built for the university. Some people need to go to trade schools or junior colleges to get certificates and things like that. But I don't believe there should be quotas in any of that. I believe you just be able to go to college. And if you can't get into your dream college the first time, go to another school and then transfer in if you need to. Show them that you can do it. Right? And on the other side, universities look at the whole student and not just their race and not just who their parents are. But they need to look at if a person can overcome adversity. If they look like they're a true candidate for the university life. And at universities, I think instead of trying to push for getting money from people, I believe admissions should be free, at least for graduate. I don't think you should have to pay an application fee to apply at a university. If you ask me, that is a classist move, and it makes it almost impossible sometimes for kids coming out of high school who happen to be part of a poor family. So that's really where I stand. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I might make a video depending on what's in the comments on this video. Have a great day. I'll see you down the road.